Peter Joemel Advincula alias Bikoy surrenders to police. Vice President Leni Robredo and members of the opposition group denied Bikoy's allegations they were conniving to topple the administration of President Rodrigo Duterte. Upset President Duterte orders shipment of trash back to Canada at Philippines' expense. And prices of school supplies increases by 1 to 2 pesos in Divisoria. Good evening. Peter Joemel Advincula, the man who had publicly confessed to be alias Bikoy, surrendered to the Philippine National Police yesterday. He said he wants to ask for forgiveness and clear the name of the first family whom he dragged into the illegal drugs trade in the country through ang Totoong Narcolist video series. Leia Ilagan will tell us why.
Peter Joemel Advincula faced the media this morning in Camp Crame after he surrendered yesterday at the Northern Police District Office over his estafa case in Baguio City. Advincula stated that a series of videos entitled Ang Totoong Narcolist from Episode 1 to Episode 5 was just fabricated. He claimed the videos had been fabricated by the camp of Senator Antonio Trillanes IV, alias Estela, and other opposition candidates except for Mar Rojas. This was allegedly part of the 9-month-in-the-making Project Sodoma, which aims to oust President Rodrigo Duterte and to seat Vice President Leni Robredo. Project Sodoma also aims for the Liberal Party senatorial candidates to win in the May 13 midterm elections. He also confirmed that Senator Bongo doesn't have a dragon tattoo with an alphanumeric code on his back. His accusation against some politicians from Region 5 and their alleged office in Musibis Bay are also not true.
Walang katotohanan lahat-lahat diyon. At diyon pawang orchestrated lamang ng mga nasa kabilang parte, which is the Liberal Party under the handling of Senator Antonio Trillanes IV. Hindi lang nakausap, ilang beses kami nagpupulong, nagpaplano upang isakatuparan ang Project Sodoma. Dahil kapag napabagsak si Presidente Duterte, ang uupo, duly constitutionalized, the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines, Her Excellency Leni Robredo. And the Vice President will appoint from the Senate or from the House a certain congressman or senator to be the Vice President. And Sunny will be the line to become the Vice President. Yun ang pinakaplano ng ang totoong narcolist.
Advincula added he knew Senator Trillanes IV after he was introduced by Albert Alejo, who is a priest. He and some of the Ocho Derecho candidates had several meetings in Ateneo de Manila and De La Salle University. The group had promised to pay him 500,000 pesos and a government post if the Liberal Party bets won in the midterm elections.
Hindi lang si Senator Sunny Trillanes, nandyan yung chief security niya. Hindi ko alam yung apelyido pero tawag namin sa kanya si Joemel. Joemel o Jerome ang pakilala niya pero Joemel. Sa mga conversation namin, ang code ni Senator Trillanes sa grupo is Estela. Nandyan din yung staff ni Senator Laila de Limas at a certain attorney Phil. Si Senator Hontiveros, ilang beses pumunta din doon, hindi naman madalas. A certain Yuli Villanueva Ong. Vicente Romano, Boom Enriquez, then a certain businessman, Dan Songko. So sila yung mga nasa likod ng production ng Ang Totoong Narcolist.
Advincula also denied he knew Rodel Jaime, the web administrator of metrobalita.net, where the video series Ang Totoong Narcolist was uploaded.
Kahit paano po may konsensya pa rin ako. Hindi ko po kaya na panindigan yung mga scripted lang na kwento na ngayong talo na yung mga kandidato nila, nararamdaman ko unti-unti na akong nilalaglag. Dahil wala na akong silbi sa kanila.
Advincula added he is requesting for the Philippine National Police or PNP's protection as there is no threat to his and his family lives. But PNP Chief Police General Oscar Bayaldo responded they will have to validate if Advincula really is receiving threats.
After posting bail, probably he can go. He's a free man after posting bail. Bailable naman kasi yung kaso niya. But if he will ask assistance from us, of course, as an ordinary citizen, we are mandated to assist kahit sino man po sa ating mga kababayan ang lalapit sa atin.
Advincula also asked for forgiveness from the first family for his allegations they are involved in the illegal drugs trade in the country.
Humihingi ako po ng paumanhin, lalo na kay Kitty. bata na 14 years old na damay sa ganitong mga pangyayari na to, sa ganitong kalukuhan na to, na isa ako sa utak ng mga kalukuhan na yon. Isa ako sa nagamit, hindi man utak kundi nagamit sa mga kalukuhan na yon. Humihingi ako sa kanya ng paumanhin. Pasensya ka na, sana balang araw kung magkita tayo, kung papaunlakan ng Pangulo na personal akong humarap sa kanya, mas ikakalugod ng dibdib ko.
The booking procedure on Advincula was completed in the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group or CIDG office in Camp Crame. He is set to travel to Baguio City to face the court for his estafa case. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
Vice President Leni Robredo denies all the accusations of Peter Joemel Advincula against the Liberal Party. The group is now studying the possible legal actions against Advincula. Grace Casin will tell us why.
Sinabi niya yung pangalan ko na nagkita kami, na ni anino niya hindi ko talaga nakita. So sigurado ako sinungaling siya.
Vice President Leni Robredo calls Peter Joemel Advincula a liar because of his accusations against the opposition. Robredo strongly denies that the Liberal Party and Senator Antonio Trillanes IV plans to oust President Duterte. The Vice President admits that she had met several times with Trillanes, but they only talk about politics since one of the members of Magdalo is an Ocho Derecho candidate.
In all of our meetings, walang mention about destabilization, walang mention ng pagpapabagsak sa gobyerno, walang mention tungkol kay Bikoy. Lahat na pinag-usapan tungkol sa kampanya. I will never be part of any destabilization.
Robredo assures that Ocho Derecho did not conduct any political meeting in Ateneo de Manila University.
Never ko pa siyang na-meet sa aking buhay. Walang any political meeting or event na nangyari sa Ateneo. Kaya pag sinabi niya nagkita kami, talagang sinungaling siya.
Even Ocho Derecho candidates Samira Gutok and Gary Alinjano said they do not know Advincula. Vice President Leni Robredo also questions Advincula's credibility. She now plans on studying the possible legal action against Advincula, who publicly introduces himself as the Bikoy in the video series Ang Totoong Narco List.
Kayo yung nagsasabi na sinungaling yung taong ito, hindi mapapagkatiwalaan. Tapos ngayon, dahil hindi na kayo yung tinuturo, yung oposisyon na, all of a sudden, kailangan pakinggan.
Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue.
Senators Antonio Trillanes IV, Risa Hontiveros, and the Liberal Party deny the allegations of Peter Joemel Advincula alias Bikoy that they are behind the Ang Totoong Narco List videos. Other senators call on the Philippine National Police to conduct a thorough investigation on the allegations. Del Maribuhok will tell us why.
The Liberal Party and some senators condemned the allegations of Peter Joemel Advincula alias Bikoy that they are the ones who orchestrated the anti-Duterte videos entitled Ang Totoong Narco List. For his part, Senator Antonio Trillanes IV denies Advincula's accusations. He says this could be another ploy of the Duterte administration to harass the opposition. Senator Trillanes is now consulting his legal team on the possible complaints to be filed against Advincula. Senator Risa Hontiveros, on the other hand, says this is another attempt of the administration to distract the public. For Hontiveros, this is just another product of Malacanang's wild imagination. Meanwhile, according to Liberal Party President Senator Francis Pangilinan, their group has no communication with Advincula that his allegations are all but lies. Even Senate Minority Leader Franklin Drilon states that the Liberal Party has no connivance with Advincula to topple the government. Senator Drilon also calls on the Philippine National Police or PNP to get to the bottom of this issue. Senator Panfilo Lacson, meanwhile a former PNP chief, leaves the investigation on Advincula's allegations to authorities. According to Senator Lacson, as a former law enforcement officer with experience in intelligence gathering, Advincula must show facts on top of what he has been telling the public. The senator said alias Bikoy is suffering a serious credibility problem and he must overcome it. According to the former PNP chief, Advincula should present evidence regarding the alleged meetings and regular communication with the people that he is now turning the tables on. It can be noted that the Senator Lacson's committee had canceled the hearing on Advincula's first accusations. This after Senate President Vicente Soto III divulged that in 2016, Advincula sought assistance from his office. According to SP Soto, Advincula formerly implicated former President Benigno Aquino III and his cabinet as being involved in illegal drugs. Because of this, Senator Soto has been doubtful of Advincula's integrity.
On my part, I did due diligence. Kaya noong 2016, hindi ko pinatulan to. Medyo iniba lang yun ang korte script, iniba ang personalidad, ito naman ngayon. So perhaps the best thing again is to learn from this lesson. And as I said, no, perhaps this is a good lesson for IBP and the religious sector na wag basta-basta patol ng patol sa mga ganon.
Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Malacanang denies that the backtracking of Peter Joemel Advincula, who has publicly claimed to be alias Bikoy, is another ploy of the Duterte administration. Meanwhile, Thea Palace refuses to comment on Advincula's credibility. Rosalie Cos tells us why.
Malacanang vehemently denies the allegations of opposition Senator Antonio Trillanes IV that the retraction of Peter Joemel Advincula, alias Bikoy, is another ploy of the Duterte administration to harass the opposition. This after Advincula alleged that several opposition senators, including Senator Trillanes, is behind the Ang Totoong Narcoles videos after surrendering to the Philippine National Police yesterday.
In the first place, the opposition has been harassing this government, this administration. They're the ones sowing intrigues, as we have repeatedly said.
Meanwhile, personalities Bikoy accuses of involvement in the drugs trade through the Ang Totoong Narcoles videos react differently. Former Davao City Vice Mayor and now Congressman-elect Paulo Duterte says in a statement that proper investigation should be done, especially now that many names have surfaced. He also reiterated his belief that no doubt Senator Trillanes is behind the video series. For Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio, Bikoy is a scam created by people who oppose the Duterte administration. She also says the brain or the leader of the group behind Bikoy is not useful. Senator-elect Bongo, who is also being accused of involvement in the operation of illegal drugs, is not surprised with Bikoy's retraction. He says he forgives Bikoy but lets the authorities determine if he has legal liabilities. Meanwhile, the Free Legal Assistance Group or FLAG denies Bikoy had been their client. This is the group's response to Advincula's statement that he had met with FLAG lawyers before, including Attorney Theodore Te and Attorney Shell Jokno, to ask for assistance. Jokno, FLAG's national chairman, says the case had been referred to them but they refused to handle it, so he advised Advincula to approach the Integrated Bar of the Philippines or IBP. Attorney Te says FLAG was able to interview Advincula like what they had done with other persons but emphasizes they did not accept the case. For its part, Malacanang refuses to provide its assessment on Advincula's retraction and credibility. It can be noted that Advincula has earlier admitted he is behind the Ang Totoong Narcoles videos, who accused the family of President Rodrigo Duterte of involvement in illegal drug operations. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said Advincula must first submit evidence to prove his allegations, especially those against the personalities he accuses of. The palace also leaves it up to the Philippine National Police and the Department of Justice to determine if charges need be filed against Advincula.
We'll have to wait for Bikoy or Advincula to substantiate his charges. Then after that, let's see. If there are charges to be filed in court, then the truth will come out. As I said repeatedly, no matter how you close, you cover, truth will always come out.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
President Rodrigo Duterte's directive to hire the service of a private shipping company to bring back the garbage illegally imported to the Philippines from Canada will push through. This despite the report that the Canadian government has already awarded the contract to a private firm to bring the waste back to Canada by the end of June. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said President Duterte wants the garbage out of the country as soon as possible. Meanwhile, the palace also wants the reported garbage imported from Australia be returned to the said country. Based on reports, the Bureau of Customs intercepted the shredded municipal waste in Misamis Oriental imported by a broker. The said shipments are said to be used as alternative fuel in cement production.
Diba sabi nila, it will take about end of June pa. Di pa paig si Presidente doon. And I understand from Secretary Dominguez that malapit ng padala. The trash will be sent back the soonest. Pero the USEC, parang may nag-report sa kanya na ginagawa na nila. We'll not allow ourselves to be a dumping ground of trash.
The prices of several school supplies in Divisoria, Manila increased by 1 to 2 pesos. And according to some vendors, the prices of these items are expected to spike more as the opening of classes fast approaches. Joanano tells us why.
The opening of school year 2019 to 2020 is just around the corner, and parents are now rushing to shop for school supplies in Divisoria, a common go-to shopping place among those who are looking for affordable items. Just like Leanne, who came all the way from the Nueva Ecija province. She said she prefers to buy school supplies in Divisoria because it is much cheaper here compared with items sold in malls and bookstores. With 2,000 pesos, Leanne was able to buy all the school supplies and new bags for her 3 children and nephews need for the incoming school year.
Mas marami pagpipilian at mas mura. Tawad-tawad lang din natin.
On the other hand, Nelly Ramel and her friends also prefer to shop in Divisoria to avail of cheaper school supplies they plan to give to less fortunate students as part of their outreach program.
Ayan, chow dito po pwede kasing matawaran. Unlike sa bookstore, hindi pwedeng tawaran, fix na po yung price.
According to some vendors, the prices of school supplies have increased by 1 to 2 pesos. But this is still cheaper compared with the prices of school supplies in malls and bookstores. Notebooks are sold in Divisoria at 12 to 15 pesos, while a pad of paper costs around 15 pesos each, and intermediate pads are sold at 20 pesos. Pencils and pens are sold from 10 to 20 pesos apiece. Envelopes are 6 to 8 pesos each, while crayons are at 65 pesos per 16 pieces per pack and 80 pesos for 24 pieces per pack. Cartolina and Manila paper are sold at 5 pesos each with discounts available when buying in bulk. Plastic cover costs 35 to 70 pesos. If you want to buy a new school bag, you can avail of one from 200 to 350 pesos. If you are looking for new school uniform, blouse and skirts are sold at 80 to 100 pesos, while shorts and pants range from 60 to 100 pesos. School shoes are priced at 250 to 380 pesos. A pair of socks costs 10 pesos, but some are sold at 50 pesos for 3 pairs. Some vendors say that prices of school supplies increase more as the opening of classes gets near. As more people buy, the result may be shortage in supply.
Bagyang tumaas po, piso, 2 piso. Na-expect pa po yan na talagang abang papalapit po yung pasokan, nagtataas po ng price.
Meanwhile, Consumer Protection Group Laban Consumer has flagged the price increase of various school supply items sold in some malls where school supplies cost 1 to 4 pesos higher than their previous prices. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Comelec Commissioner Rowena Guanzon opposes former National Youth Commission Chairman Ronald Cardema's bid to be the first nominee of the Duterte Youth Party list. For now, Cardema's application to be the substitute candidate of the party list is pending. Ayoko Miguel will tell us why.
Comelec Commissioner Rowena Guanzon says she will dissent once the Comelec Bank approves former National Youth Commission or NYC Chairman Ronald Cardema's bid to be the first nominee of the Duterte Youth Party list. Commissioner Guanzon said in a tweet that Comelec Chairman Sheriff Abbas only signed a resolution giving due course to Cardema's bid, but whether he is qualified to substitute is another matter to be decided. Hence, Cardema's bid remains uncertain. According to Guanzon, she did not sign a resolution on Cardema's bid to party list. The Duterte Youth Party List group is one of the party list formally proclaimed by the National Board of Canvassers to have one seat in the House of Representatives. But according to Guanzon, Cardema cannot represent the youth sector because he is already 33 years old. Based on the Party List System Act or Republic Act 7941, a qualified nominee for a youth group must be between 25 to 30 years old. Commissioner Guanzon also said the Comelec Bank and the Poll Body's Law Department are in the process of thoroughly reviewing a resolution on Cardema's case.
In my opinion, if the original nominee is also above 30, then they are not qualified. Cannot substitute validly if the original nominee or candidate is disqualified in the first place.
According to Comelec spokesman Director James Jimenez, the poll body will immediately release Comelec Bank's decision once there is finality.
Yung decision na papel, wala pa. So we will probably forward it to you as soon as we get it.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
An election law expert proposes a system he believes will improve the integrity of the automated elections in the country. This as the country will next prepare for the 2022 elections. Ray Pelayo explains why.
The country should prepare for the 2022 presidential and vice presidential elections as early as now, according to law expert Attorney George Erwin Garcia. He also suggests a hybrid automated election system that will include manual counting. This system, he said, will remove doubts on the election results.
Bibilangin ng teachers, may mga watchers sa likod niya, kitang-kita kung anong binilang, nagsusulat sa blackboard ng tara, nagsusulat sa election return ng tara, at pwede, may makina, ipapasok ngayon sa machine.
So marami pong verification. So,
yung machine mapiprint ngayon ng election returns. Magtitingin natin ngayon kung magtutugma tatlo.
Tama.
Pag nagtugma, nag-agree at nagtugma, yun ngayon ay hindi mo na manually itatransmit kung hindi yung electronic transmission.
Attorney Garcia said although this process will take longer compared with the automated system implemented in the 2019 polls, a hybrid process will assure that votes are counted transparently.
Titingnan mo talaga 10 lang ba ang boto sa ER? 10 lang ba ang boto doon sa blackboard na nakikita ng tao? Di ba? So, at least po, walang duda ngayon. Walang hocus-pocus, walang mga sinasabing mga computerized na dayaan.
Garcia also cited the first world countries like in Europe have returned to implementing manual elections because of doubts on automated elections.
Tayo po'y naghahanda para sa 2022 elections.
Mas mabigat po yun.
Mas mabigat yan. Kinakailangan sigurado tayo na mahalal nating Pangulo ay yung Pangulong pinili talaga ng sambayan ng Pilipino. Hindi pinili lang ng machine.
Garcia stressed the importance of the hearing to be conducted by the Joint Congressional Oversight Committee on June 4 over what transpired during the May 13 elections. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Malacanang says there is no need to protest the Hong Kong airport entry denial of former Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales. Rosalie Cos explains why.
No harassment or maltreatment on former Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales was done when she was held by immigration authorities in an airport in Hong Kong. For Malacanang, the Philippine government has no need to protest about the treatment of the Hong Kong immigration towards the former high-ranking Philippine official. This is the palace response to the challenge of opposition center Risa Hontiveros to protest what Hong Kong authorities did to Morales.
Now, parang ang gusto yata ng iba, bumana tayo. But tinanong ko kumusta naman ang trato siya? Kasi kung binastos siya, kung ministry siya, hindi pa pwede sa atin yun. We will definitely protest. Pero hindi naman.
Meanwhile, the palace does not want to speculate on the reason why the immigration authorities held the former ombudsman for hours. Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara had earlier mentioned that what happened to Morales might have something to do with the Crimes Against Humanity complaint she and former Foreign Affairs Albert Del Rosario filed before the International Criminal Court or ICC against Chinese President Xi Jinping on the territorial dispute in the South China or West Philippine Sea. Meanwhile, a Hong Kong legislator, Ted Wee Chi-fung, criticizes what the immigration authorities did to Morales and said the incident showed that Beijing has exercised control over Hong Kong immigration. He said this is against the rule of law and the basic law of Hong Kong and wanted the Hong Kong government to explain about the incident. The palace, for its part, does not regard Morales as a security threat or destabilizer.
Oh yeah, she is entitled to her opinion. She exercises the right to freedom of expression, and we respect that, all of us.
Rosa Licoz, UNTV, News and Rescue, Malacanang.
Fisher folk group Pamalakaya believes Manila Mayor-elect Isko Moreno will execute his platforms, including the strict review of Manila Bay reclamation projects. April Senadoza will tell us why.
Various groups have been condemning reclamation projects at the Manila Bay as they are seen to displace thousands of families, trigger flooding, and destroy the ecosystem in the area. However, Manila Mayor-elect Francisco Isko Moreno has earlier announced that such reclamation will not be his priority. Fisher folk group Pambansang Lakas ng Kilusang Mamalakaya or Pamalakaya lauded the mayor's plan as they hope for a strict review of the billion peso worth reclamation projects.
Hindi makakatulong sa paglilinis ng Manila Bay yung reclamation because lalong sisirain at papatayin, no? Yung mayamang pangisdaan ng Manila Bay.
The group also encouraged the city government to supervise the collection of trash in coastal areas. Manila Mayor-elect Francisco Isko Moreno Domagoso formally takes office on June 30, 2019. April Senadoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
After the Google Android operating system ban, sales of Huawei cell phones in some areas in the Philippines has become dull. Monokson will tell us why.
Aside from clothes, shoes, and watches, Green Hills Shopping Center is well known for cheap brand new and pre-owned cell phones. Even new gadgets not officially launched in the Philippine market can be found in Green Hills. And you can see not only ordinary cell phones, but also flagship and expensive ones. Whether on cash basis or trade-in, you can avail of the gadgets you want. Ivor John is amazed with the camera feature on Huawei P30 Pro, but because of the recent ban on Huawei, he shifted to iPhone XS Max.
Hindi na. Bakit? Wala sira na eh. Pati yung updates lahat. Ano pang gagawin mo sa phone?
Kaya ano na lang bibilin mo ngayon?
iPhone na.
Mika, who is into the cell phone buy and sell business, has noticed a surge of customers who want to trade in their Huawei phones after the Android OS ban.
Sinasabi ko sa kanila na hindi na yung price na expected mo before sa Huawei. Kasi syempre nagkaroon ng problem, medyo magde-depreciate from yung actual price na gusto mo. So dapat tatanggapin na lang natin kasi sa part din namin, mahirap din na hindi namin din alam kung paano namin i-dispose yung unit na Huawei.
The trade-in value of Huawei phones has also decreased. That's why it's hard to sell them for a good price.
Siguro bumaba siya ng 5,000 to 7,000 from the bilihan ng price.
Mula sa dati?
Oo, pero kasi kami, yung as is pa din, so pinipilit pa rin namin yung i-market dun sa price na meron pa rin kami kikitain.
Noreen, a supplier of cell phones, said that she doesn't have any plans on getting more Huawei phones for her business. Before, a brand new Huawei flagship phone cost 55,000 pesos. But now, it is only at 46,000 pesos.
Susunod pa, kukuha ka pa. Magre-restock pa kayo ng Huawei.
Siguro parang hindi na muna.
Bakit?
Kasi sa nabasa ko naman sa internet, ang Huawei naman, meron naman daw silang plan B. Nagagawa sila ng OS ay parang Android, parang kumbaga OS. Yun nga, siguro hindi na muna pa sa ngayon.
Huawei phones will still function properly even after Huawei's temporary license to maintain expires in August 19, 2019. However, all Huawei units will not be receiving any updates from the Android platform. Huawei is the second largest phone manufacturer in the world. Samsung is the leading manufacturer, while Apple is the third biggest in the business. Meanwhile, U.S. Ambassador to the Philippines, Sung Kim, doesn't want to interfere with the Philippines' plan to partner with Huawei in the government's Safe Philippine projects.
And it's up to the individual country to make decisions on which companies they partner with, which technologies they choose to use. But we believe it's important as a friend, as a partner, and as an ally to share our concerns with the Philippines and other.
Google has suspended Huawei's access to updates of its Android operating system, and chip makers have reportedly cut off supplies to the Chinese telecoms company after the U.S. government added it to a trade blacklist last week. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, San Juan City.
The Department of Education acknowledges the support and help of members Church of God International and the Bible Readers Society in the yearly Brigada Eskwela. Gladys Tuabi explains why.
In Cebu, volunteers from Members Church of God International or MCGI and the Bible Readers or Bread Society joined the Department of Education or DepEd's annual Brigada Eskwela. This year, the group helped in cleaning and beautifying B. Durano Integrated School. Broken doors were fixed and the walls and gate were given a new color. MCGI and Bread Society volunteers also offered mural painting as a new landmark in the school. The group also visited Bulacau Community High School, Tingob High School, Sabang Elementary School, Dumlog Elementary School, and Lower Campo 8 Elementary School. In Cavite, MCGI granted the request of Pangil Elementary School in Amadeo, Cavite to help them once again in cleaning the campus. The school management said their manpower is not enough if they were to depend only on the parents and guardians of their students. MCGI volunteers gladly fulfilled the work. In Pampanga, it's a dream come true for Masantol Senior High School to receive hospital beds and wheelchairs. The school had requested these items from Brother Eli Soriano and Brother Daniel Razon. And in Nueva Vizcaya, MCGI donated wall clocks, brooms and trash cans to Cibol National High School, Barangka Elementary School, Calikid Norte Elementary School, and Barakbak Elementary School. For its part, DepEd acknowledges MCGI and Bread Society's continuous support and contribution in the annual cleaning and beautification of schools across the country. Gladys Tuabi, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The security forces in Region 11 believe that the implementation of martial law in Mindanao helps them to strengthen the implementation of security measures in the region. Janice Inhente will tell us why.
It has been 2 years since President Rodrigo Duterte declared martial law in Mindanao following the Marawi siege on May 23, 2017. According to the police forces in southern Mindanao, they have not received any complaints or reports of abuses or violations of human rights that can be connected to the implementation of martial law in the region.
Wala naman kami nakukuha na videos ng mga reports regarding sa violations o many mga incident or irresponsibility na ginawa ng ating personnel also.
According to the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP, martial law also helps in strengthening the implementation of security measures of the police and military in Mindanao.
Atong nakita nga nakatabang pod kini sa suwata nato no sa mga planong mga terroristic plans ng mga grupong CPP NDF.
It can be noted that martial rule in Mindanao has been extended 3 times and it will end on December 31 this year. The martial law implementation in the region had been questioned at the Supreme Court many times, but the High Court dismissed petitions against it. Janice Inhente, UNTV News and Rescue, Davao City.
Meanwhile, the planned cloud seeding operations in Zamboanga City will not push through. Dante Amento will tell us why.
The two public biddings for the conduct of the cloud seeding operations in Zamboanga City due to the adverse effect of the dry spell were a failure. The Zamboanga City Water District or ZCWD added that if the cloud seeding activity will be pushed through, it must be done much earlier because the rainy season is coming. Based on the forecast of the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration or PAGASA, there will be more rainfall come August.
The second bidding was still a failure of bid. So I'm not sure if they will still rebid it. Okay. But I hope it can be done earlier. Baka sayang lang the rain's already coming.
The water level in the Pasunangka Dam is still 74.10 meters, which is below the 74.20 meters normal level. Water rationing has been implemented in the city for 12 hours since January as the dry spell continues until August. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue, Zamboanga City.
And for the news abroad, here's Kath Dumaraos live from Bangkok, Thailand. Kath, good evening.
Good evening, William. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's governing party has taken a decisive lead as vote is counted after the country's marathon general election. The alliance led by his Bharatiya Janata Party is ahead in more than 300 seats, and Modi looks on course to keep his commanding majority. India's stock markets surged to record highs on early results. Modi was up against a resurgent main opposition Congress party and powerful regional rivals across the country. The ambassador of North Korea to the United States has warned the United States that its outrageous seizure of a cargo ship could have consequences on the future of U.S.-North Korean relations. This report will tell us why.
The United Nations envoy for the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or DPRK, denounced the U.S. seizure of one of the country's cargo ships at a press conference on Tuesday. The cargo ship Wise Honest was first detained in Indonesian waters in April 2018. Its seizure was announced by the U.S. Justice Department on May 9, 2019 for allegedly violating U.S. and UN sanctions.
The latest act of the United States constitutes extension of the American method calculation for putting pressure upon to us to kneel down by means of the maximum pressure. Also, it is outright denial of the underlying spirit of June 12 DPRK USA joint statement, which committed establishing new bilateral relations. United States has committed unlawful and outrageous acts of dispossessing our cargo ship. We are condemning in strongest terms this act of dispossessing of our cargo ship because this instance is early product of extreme hostile policy of the United States against DPRK.
The Wise Honest is a state-owned ship and property of the DPRK, said the permanent representative. He noted that on May 14, a DPRK Foreign Ministry spokesman demanded the immediate return of the ship and urged the U.S. government to consider how its actions might impact future relations between the two countries. Kim said he sent a letter last week to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres with regard to the seizure in order to inform our principled position. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
U.S. President Donald Trump has angrily lashed out at Democratic leaders' claim he is engaged in a cover-up. Beverly Saison will tell us why.
A war of words erupted between President Donald Trump and Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi over intensifying investigations by lawmakers that Trump is engaged in a cover-up. Trump, seeking re-election in 2020, said he would not work with Democrats on infrastructure due to what he called their phony investigations.
That Nancy Pelosi, just before our meeting, made a statement that we believe that the President of the United States is engaged in a cover-up. Well, it turns out I'm the most, and I think most of you would agree to this, I'm the most transparent president probably in the history of this country. We have given on a witch hunt, on a hoax. The whole thing with Russia was a hoax. as it relates to the Trump administration and myself.
Pelosi, the top congressional Democrat, did not back down afterward and pointedly mentioned the possibility of impeachment, the process set up by the U.S. Constitution for Congress to remove a president from office.
The fact is, in plain sight, in the public domain, this president is obstructing justice and he's engaged in a cover-up. And that could be an impeachable.
After the blow-up of the meeting and Trump's Rose Garden diatribe, Democrats accused the president of setting them up and expressed concern about his conduct and the long-term outlook for policy making in Washington.
For some reason, maybe it was lack of confidence on his part, that he really couldn't match the greatness of the challenge that we have, wasn't really respectful of the Congress and the White House working together. He just took a pass, and it just makes me wonder why he did that.
The House Judiciary Committee on Tuesday issued 2 more subpoenas to former White House staffers, including former Communications Director Hope Hicks, who was close to Trump. Trump and Democrats who control the House of Representatives are locked in a high-stakes power struggle over their ability to investigate him, with the president increasingly asserting that his advisors need not to respond to lawmakers' inquiries. Beverly Saison, UNTV News and Rescue, USA.
And those are the news from the other parts of the globe. Back to you, William.
Thank you very much, Kath de Maraos, reporting live from Bangkok, Thailand. Japan's Panasonic said it was halting business with Huawei to comply with U.S. restrictions. Panasonic said the ban applies to goods having 25% or more of U.S.-originated materials, according to reports. Last week, the U.S. put Huawei on a list of companies that American firms cannot trade with unless they have a license. The restrictions mark an escalation in U.S. efforts to block Huawei, which it says poses a security risk. Meanwhile, shareholders seeking to halt Amazon's sale of its facial recognition technology to U.S. police forces have been defeated in 2 votes that sought to pressure the company into a rethink. Sunny Cos explains why.
Amazon.com Incorporated on Wednesday said shareholders rejected proposals to curb and audit its facial recognition services, just as member of Congress indicated there was a bipartisan support to one day regulate the technology. In the past year, Amazon has found itself at the center of a growing debate over the use of facial recognition by governments, with critics warning of false matches and arrests and proponents arguing it keeps the public safe. Law enforcement in Oregon and Florida have used Amazon's face image ID service known as Recognition. With supports of civil liberties groups, 2 non-binding proposals of facial recognition made it to the ballots ahead of Amazon shareholders meeting on Wednesday. Amazon had tried to stop the votes but was effectively overruled by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission.
We need the large tech companies to step up and draw a line in the sand and say they're not going to deploy dangerous face surveillance technology against communities. Amazon has failed to recognize and failed to take responsibility for its dangerous technology, which allows governments to cheaply and easily track individuals and communities as they go about their daily private lives.
Behind the shareholders' concern was research that showed Amazon's technology struggled more than peers to identify the gender of individuals with darker skin, prompting fears that the faulty technology would put innocent people behind bars. Amazon has defended its work and said all users must follow the law. It also added a web portal for people to report any abuse of the service. The proposal faced an uphill battle. Amazon's board recommended against them, and Jeff Bezos, the company's chief executive and founder, controls 16% of its stocks and voting rights. Still, critics of the technology saw potential benefits from the proposals. A key congressional committee also met on Wednesday in Washington, D.C. to discuss the impact of facial recognition on civil rights. Republican members of the committee expressed concerns about U.S. citizens having their privacy violated and being caught up in law enforcement database without having done anything wrong.
Unregulated facial recognition technology should not be allowed to continue. It is too powerful, too chilling, too undermining to principles of privacy, liberty, and security.
Sanicos, UNTV News and Rescue, USA.
World Football governing body FIFA said Wednesday that the number of teams at the next Men's World Cup will remain according to the original plan. Asher Kadapan Jr. will tell us why.
The 2022 Men's World Cup in Qatar will be held with 32 participating teams and not an expanded 48-team lineup, FIFA said on Wednesday. FIFA President Gianni Infantino had proposed expanding the tournament and explored the area of adding additional host nations. But the sports world ruling body said in a statement that following a thorough and comprehensive consultation process with the involvement of all the relevant stakeholders, it was concluded that under the current circumstances, such a proposal could not be made now. It said the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 will therefore remain as originally planned with 32 teams, and no proposal will be submitted at the next FIFA Congress on the 5th of June. FIFA and Qatar had also looked at whether the Gulf state could host an expanded tournament alone by changing the normal requirements for facilities. Infantino began to back away from the idea in March when, after a FIFA Council meeting in Miami, he said it would be fantastic either doing it or not. The obstacles to a 48-team tournament in Qatar were numerous, and some of the natural partners for joint hosting in the Gulf were ruled out due to a deep political and economic rift in the region. The Qatar World Cup organizers were not immediately available for comment. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue.
Queensland and Uber partnered to launch the world's first rideshare submarine on the Great Barrier Reef. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
It's the ultimate rideshare. Meet Scuba, the world's first underwater rideshare on the Great Barrier Reef. The project is a partnership between Queensland, Australia, and Uber. From May 27 to June 18, 2019, this once-in-a-lifetime experience will provide riders with an unfiltered view of an extraordinary underwater world, rich and diverse in marine life. Passengers will dive to a maximum of 30 meters, about the same levels reached by advanced scuba divers, with 180-degree views of Australia's most recognizable World Heritage Site in a battery-powered submarine. Bookings are available on the Uber app at 7:30 a.m. on the day of each departure. It's a journey of both highs and lows. For every passenger fare, Uber will donate the same amount to Reef Conservation Group Citizens of the Great Barrier Reef. Uber says its sub, which seats just 2 passengers and the pilot, will have no negative impact on the reef. Uber and Queensland are even giving away a prize package which includes return airfares and transfers, a 5-night luxury accommodation stay at Riley, a Crystal Brook Collection Resort, and more. For details, just visit their website, scubaqueensland.com. Nina Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news this May 23, 2019. On behalf of Alex Baltazar and Angelo Castro III, I am William Theo, and before we close, we will recap with today's significant sound bites. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.
Walang katotohanan lahat-lahat yun. At yun pawang orchestrated lamang ng mga nasa kabilang parte, which is the Liberal Party under the handling of Senator Antonio Trillanes IV. Hindi lang nakausap, ilang beses kami nagpupulong, nagpaplano upang isakatuparan ang Project Sodoma. Dahil kapag napabagsak si Presidente Duterte, ang uupo, duly constitutionalized, the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines, Her Excellency Leni Robredo.
Sinabi niya yung pangalan ko na nagkita kami, na ni anino niya, hindi ko talaga nakita. So sigurado ako sinungaling siya.
We'll have to wait for BIKOY or Advincula to substantiate his charges. Then after that, let's see. If there are charges to be filed in court, then the truth will come out.
In my opinion, if the original nominee is also above 30, then they are not qualified.
Mommy's arguing it's also...
And you cannot substitute validly if the original nominee or candidate is disqualified in the first place.
Now, parang ang gusto yata ng iba, bumana tayo. But tinanong ko si, kumusta naman ang trato sa'yo? Kasi kung binastos siya, kung ministry siya, hindi pa pwede sa atin. We will definitely protest. Pero hindi naman.